What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to my vlog. So, I had a conversation with someone recently. There were a variety of topics involved, but most of it revolved around, kids, teenagers, young people these days and how life is for them right now. And I kind of came to the realization that even I mean, I'm not even that removed from high school. It's been less than 10 years since I graduated high school. But life just seems so much more complicated. Maybe that's just me, and because I made my high school life pretty simple, but it still seems like a lot of stuff is just so complicated. And I think a lot of it can be attributed to the fact that there's like this kind of competitive spirit to pretty much everything these days. Now, in the realm of sports, being competitive is just kind of what you do. It makes sense there. You want your team to win, you want to do the best that you can, all that kind of stuff. But applying that to other areas of life, I don't know if it's quite as helpful. Take, for example, applying to college. Now, maybe it was because I had pretty good grades and, I was doing some extracurricular, not school connected, but extracurricular activities and a couple of things like that. But I was able to pretty much just kind of go about it how I saw fit. I only wound up applying to one college and I got in, this college right here. But now it's like you have to have this massive battle plan going into applying for colleges. I mean, I'll admit what I did probably wasn't a great idea. I would definitely suggest applying to at least a few different colleges. But now it's like, you have to build up your like pre-college resume basically to look as good as you can on your college application. And not only that, but you have to apply to a whole bunch of different colleges with different levels of interest for you. It's like, make sure you apply to at least one or two that you yourself are really personally interested in their programs. But also make sure you have a few as fallbacks that, if those don't work out, then you have the fallbacks to lean on. Or, make sure that you have a couple of colleges up there that you would really probably only go to with a significant scholarship, but also have some that are less expensive that you could afford either way. And just all this stuff. It's like we're pushing teenagers to do literally everything that they possibly can to try to gain an edge in the really in everything, but for this example, the college application process, that it's just like, it probably leaves them wondering which one they should actually go with, if and when they get accepted to multiple. But it also makes it seem like they have to, just keep doing more and more and more today just to build up a better tomorrow for them, which isn't even necessarily always going to be the case because now the job market is so competitive. I mean, even in a field like mine, I studied youth ministry in college, and yet the competition is very much there. Like not every, but a lot of jobs that you see postings online for, they're asking for like 5 years experience. How do you get the experience if you don't already have it? And then nobody will let you get it. And it's just some sort of crazy cyclical thing that just creates more problems than it solves. And but that's just in a ministry job market. I don't even know what it's like for, lawyers, or, I mean, I have a little bit of a hint at what it's like for doctors. My brother-in-law is a doctor, but still, I don't really know firsthand what that's like. And it's just, point being, like, everything is just so competitive these days. And I feel like that competitive spirit to our entire lives has been caused pretty much by two major trains of thought that have been perpetuated way too much. First off is the idea that we are better, specializing in something than just being generally good at a bunch of things. This is not a culture that is very well suited to a jack of all trades type of person. You're better off, I mean, heck, even in the medical field, you have so many different types of doctors, physicians, whatever. I mean, you've got people that specialize in just your teeth. You have people that specialize just with delivering babies, and you have others that specialize in just heart surgery, or just in, heck, just different areas of your body, which, I mean, it can work out well because then they have a more detailed knowledge of that particular field, that particular area of you. But at the same time, it's just, if you've got all these different areas of focus that never really stop to consider the whole, it's, I don't know, it can be all the more complicated. But, expand that example out to other areas where it's like, I mean, obviously, okay, like I said, obviously in sports, you try to be the best because that's just how the stuff works. You're better, you make the team better, and it just all works out better that way. But in life as a whole, having just one particular specialty that you hone in on doesn't necessarily, like, who says for sure you're going to have that job or career for your entire life? There are plenty of people that don't. So that just contributes all the more to that feeling where if you're not in that field, it seems like you've messed up somehow. And that might not really be the case, especially in a ministry setting. I mean, some people don't end up becoming pastors for 50 years. Anyway, so there's that thought process that specialization is better than just being generally good at a bunch of different things. But then there's also that thought that kind of competitive drive of, like, there's always someone better than you out there. And just the comparing yourself to others and trying to, make yourself better in that one specific area so that you can make yourself look better compared to others. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm just sitting here thinking, would you rather just be yourself as you are and not fret over, doing just a tiny little bit of an improvement? Or, would you rather eat up a whole bunch of time and effort and thoughts just to get that slight edge over somebody else? It's just one of those things where life is so much more complicated now than it needs to be when it comes to, again, applying for college, when it comes to careers, when it comes to dating even that's a freaking competition these days, which is ridiculous. Because it's like, for the girls, it's like, oh, you've got to make yourself look as attractive as possible so that the guys will notice you more. Or for the guys, it's like you have to have some sort of particular plan for how you're going to go about trying to pick up the girls. And just an example, I had this one friend of mine in high school who bragged about having like 30 different girlfriends by the time he was a senior. Like that was some sort of accomplishment, which totally does not make sense to me. I mean, I can see the potential value in having a couple of dates and, getting yourself out there and used to that kind of situation and environment. But you don't date just for the sake of dating. And you don't build a relationship, whether romantic or not, with somebody just to try it out and to, see if it works. You date somebody because you like them. I don't know. There's just all of this competitive spirit to all this stuff is just massively overcomplicating things for like practically our entire lives. There are areas and times where it's kind of practical, but there's a certain limit to it, certainly. And there are also certain areas where it really doesn't help. I mean, especially having our whole society, our general culture have this competitive spirit, I think is doing far more harm than good. But yeah, all that got swirling around in my head just because of this one conversation I had with somebody about basically the way life is for teenagers now. And it's just so unnecessary and so much more ridiculous than I ever remember it being just not even 10 years ago. So I really hope that does not continue as a trend the way it seems to be going, because if it does, then just literally everything then will be a competition, and we're all going to be just pushing ourselves way too hard at every single area of our lives. I think that's pretty much going to do it for this time around. Feel free to, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff if you enjoyed this video and want to see more. And yeah, I hope you are all doing well. I will see you next time around. Later.